Hi there! Let's get into how I made the Kaz Brekker costume from 𝗁𝗂𝗁𝗏 and his cane specifically. First, let's quickly go over the vest. I used silver fabric paint and made stamps for the repeating patterns. Be careful when applying the paint so that it isn't too thick on the stamp. I used a sponge top light. After that, I added random patterns by hand to make it look nicer. Then iron carefully under the cotton fabric on the next day and you're done. Now the cane. I will sand the wood a little bit, then cover it with a base solution. After that, paint and varnish, so it shines beautifully. For the crow's head, I first made a paper base, onto which I then applied a special material, called welding, essentially epoxy glue. It comes in different forms, but in this case you need the one that comes in the form of a plasticine. It is better to work with it with wet hands so that it doesn't stick to the skin. It is very convenient to create durable crafts and elements from this material, but you need to work with it very quickly since it hardens quickly. After 15 minutes the material becomes like stone. Basically there are two substances, one in the center and one around. To work with material, both substances need to be mixed. Then a chemical reaction and hardening process begins. I advise cutting small pieces and mixing them one by one, otherwise you may not have time to finish the craft. Mix them thoroughly so that there are no lumps. It is generally better to work with gloves and outside so as not to breathe in harmful fumes, and so that the smell doesn't remain on the skin. But I somehow neglect this. Don't do that. Once the base is done, it is time to add details. I started with the eye sockets. Initially I wanted to sink a bead for the eye into the material itself, but I didn't calculate the width of the material layer, so I had to change the plan. In the end, I just glued the rhinestone onto the already finished and painted head. After that, the rest of the details were added, checking that they were similar on both sides. Each one needs to be rubbed very carefully into the base to minimize joints. And remember to work with wet gloves or hands, it is much easier. I also made some kind of feathers and eyebrows, as well as the bridge of the nose. The head was attached to a stick with the same material and then complemented with the same patterns. I also made a small foot for the cane to give it more elegance. After that it was time to paint. First the base, for which I used acrylic canvas primer. After that spray paint, but in the process I decided to add some details for the shade. And then add more details to create the effect of antiquity and wear. In general, that's all. For the first time working with the material, it was interesting. You're free to ask any questions in the comments if you have them. And wait for the costume itself at conventions and in upcoming videos. See you!
Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling